Hello everyone, this is Shai from MercerFX.com, and I'm going to talk today about three pairs, the Euro dollar, GBP USD and the Aussie dollar, because I think these three pairs are quite interesting for this new few next days. So let's start with the Euro dollar. As you can see, this was the uptrend, the trend line that was broken early May, since the talking about rate cuts just started, and it went all the way down to this red line, which is the 23.6 of Fibofan. And then let's zoom in a little bit and go to H1. What we can see here, there was this play around the line, okay, for a few days, or maybe a few weeks, and then the continuation of the down movement. So what can we expect now in the few next days? Actually, we can predict or try to predict two different scenarios. First one, what I think is that if the continuation to the downside is going to be, it's going to come, then most probably what we'll see is a down movement to the 38.2 Fibofan, and then another reaction to the upside. Now, let's not forget that since this movement started, we're already somewhere around 500 pips, okay, with no good correction to the upside, which is quite unusual for this pair of the euro dollar. So we can expect actually two things. If this movement to the downside is not going to continue in the next few days, then most probably what will happen is that the price will go up to this little trend line, and it should be quite easy for it to break. Then if it break it up, it will resist on this trend line, and maybe then another movement to the downside. Now if this line is going to be broken, then for sure we're going to see another movement back to the 23.6, which is going to be another resistance, and then in this case most probably the continuation to the downside will come, because fundamentally the euro dollar is going down, okay, and you should keep this in mind. Now let's talk about the pound. The pound is actually a very strong pair for the last few months. This black line that you see here is quite the uptrend that was broken. Once this line was broken, then it wasn't for a long time, okay? The up movement just started, and now in the last few days we saw another movement that just came all the way up and brought us back to the trend, to the uptrend, to the trend channel. Now this movement also is 250 pips, which is quite strong. Now what I expect from this pair in the next few days, maybe even tomorrow, is to come all the way down to this area over here, something about 25 pips, back to the 23.6 of this Fibo movement, and then for sure we're going to see this pair going back up to this red line, which is a very strong resistance, very strong historical resistance. Also remember that fundamentally we're going to see pretty soon, maybe even sooner than traders thought, we're going to see a rate hike in Britain, okay? So this movement was not for nothing. This up movement, this sharp movement for the upside came because people are starting to realize that maybe this rate hike will come even earlier than they thought before. So I think that we can see, and we will see maybe tomorrow, another movement to this black line and to 23.6 of the Fibo, and then here I'm going to buy this pair, maybe even for 80-70 pips. And remember that if we look at the H4 chart, then let's take a look at the daily chart, then take a look at this historical high, Okay, this high over here is very, very strong resistance, and we're not far away. But I think that for sure we're going to see this pair going up and reaching this red line. Now, the last pair that I'm going to talk about is the Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar is quite interesting because it is very, very strong and it's very systematic in its movements. And you can see how well it reacts to the lines. Okay, we were in a downtrend for a long time, but then came this this movement, and look how nicely the price reacts to the line. Here's one, and here's two, and here three, and now we broke this line. So I believe that we have more room to the upside. Now, this line over here, okay, this area over here is a resistance area. Now, if we're going to break this guy, we're most probably going to see another movement to here, and then maybe another movement to here, to the back to the trend line. But if in the next few days this pair is going to go down, most probably it will stop on this support area, which is the green line and the trend line, the lower trend line, and then from here another movement back to the 38.2 of Fibofan. So this is how I'm going to trade this pair. I will wait for it to come down. Personally, I don't like to short the Aussie since the swap is too big and too high, but I believe that the Aussie dollar is going to be a little bit more stronger before it will go down, and maybe this up movement that we see here, which is 200 pips, is not over yet. We still have room for the upside, and if we take the Fibo levels, then we can see that we are right at the 23.6, and from here we can expect another movement. And as I said before, maybe this movement from the next movement will be back to the black and red lines. So be ready for a very, very interesting week. Tomorrow we're going to have the CPI in the Eurozone, and Friday, or not Friday, sorry, on Wednesday we're going to see the FOMC, which probably we're going to see the tapering is continuing, and it's going to be very, very exciting. So be ready, be safe, keep your money management at all time at hand, and good luck. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.